Is Vayne overpowered? Maybe, but not in the way you'd expect. Vayne fills a new niche in Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, much like Noctis did when he was released way back when. Nobody in the game can warp at this moment, well, other than a very few instances with certain attacks. Nobody can warp like Noctis can. And during that time, Noctis probably felt pretty overpowered because he was new, and it was something we had to learn. Well, for most gamers, he probably felt overpowered. For those willing to take on a challenge, he just felt new. And that's how Vayne's gonna feel when we get him. He's gonna feel new. He's gonna be dangerous, exciting, unforsaken, unseen, uncharted lands. Something like that. Anyways, so Vayne isn't overpowered in his role of getting wall rushes for days. However, let's analyze what he has outside of the neutral bravery combo he's so well known for. Let's go over his forward bravery in the air and his backwards bravery in the air. They're essentially parallels of each other. One's a dive kick, and the other one's a rising punch. This means he trades the usual charge forward bravery style of attack for a rising punch, meaning he doesn't have that usual Vanguard tool at his disposal. And with the dive kick, he can't throw out a projectile without dashing. Already, this doesn't look overpowered at all. It's just, he trades his usual tool that you think you take for granted as other Vanguards for these unique dive kick or anti-dive kick type moves. Verticality is really important to Dissidia NT with the dash gauge. So it's going to be interesting to see how people use this to get their wall rushes out and, chase people down like an assassin would as a Vanguard, and then just punch him or kick him away into the wall above or below them. He's great when he gets close, probably the best Vanguard. However, he lacks a projectile that can just be thrown out there, or that has some kind of special property that can help him get some distance. Meaning he has a hard time getting close to the enemy or his target without some teamwork. Now you're probably thinking these look familiar, and you're right. Jecht's forward bravery in the air and on the ground are these two moves, except he can only do one at a time. Will Vayne be taking over Jecht? No, he won't. Jecht can still block everything in the game, and Jecht is a very unique character, even though he's in the assassin class. He can block everything, every bravery attack, so Jecht's still okay. Vayne's not going to be replacing Jecht anytime soon. Vayne's a different flavor, I'd say, of a melee type character, while Jecht is another flavor. It's whatever flavor you prefer, But they don't, it's not like apples and like green apples. It's apples and oranges with Vayne and Jecht. Also, Jecht has more speed than Vayne, so he can get more combos up, while Vayne can't. Alrighty then, now to Vayne's other style of attack, on the ground. Vayne's two bravery on the ground combos, other than his neutral bravery attack, are this kind of Rapukin giant projectile that comes up slowly and then goes really fast, and a standard charge attack. I'm not going to go over the standard charge attack because we've seen it a million times. It's just a charge attack. We're just discussing it actually when I think about it. But yeah, it's just a charge attack. Nothing special here. The enormous blade beam from the ground, though, however, is worth mentioning because it has medium priority. Usually Vanguard projectiles have low priority, so they're pretty much crushed by every other projectile in the game unless they're like charged up or something. But it has medium priority, and it's enormous. This comes at the cost of it being really slow. It might look really intimidating at first because, it goes slow, then fast, and then changes color, and it's huge and all that. But Cloud is the same kind of thing, and Vayne can only do his on the ground, while Cloud's much more threatening projectiles can be done in the air or on the ground. And we already all know, Cloud's projectiles, while they do a lot of damage, aren't really that scary. Like, they do some pretty good damage, but, they're not really terrifying at all, so Vayne's ground projectile, considering how it's only one hit too, not like multiple hits like Cloud's projectiles are, it's not going to be overpowered. So as attacks themselves without the bravery damage values, Vayne's attacks don't look that too insane, The neutral combo, which I didn't cover at all, is, his main shtick, so I'm not going to say that's overpowered or underpowered until we actually get a feel for it. But with all his other generic moves, or his tools, I suppose, that we should be worried about, they're not overpowered, they're fine. Now here's what I think is going to be kind of what breaks the camel's back right here. We're probably going to see this tuned down in the coming weeks if it is overpowered according to the Japanese players playing in the arcades. But we don't have that information yet. But I have a feeling this move is going to be pretty overpowered in its current state. This is his unique EX skill. Now this is according to True Blade Seeker's video, which I'll link down in the description, which has Vayne's moveset information. Anyways, this EX skill has 3 tiers. You can charge it up. You've probably seen it in the videos before. Let's go over what each tier does. Now remember, this isn't like an area of effect around him, so if anybody's nearby when he does this, they actually get the buff as well that I'm going to list off here. So at level 1, when you just tap the triangle button, he gets 20% defense increased, and his EX skills cooldown on hit. Which means that if you manage to hit somebody with a bravery attack or whatever, your EX skills will charge up a little bit faster for each punch you land. That's alright. Level 1 is alright. Now level 2, he gets all that, plus an increase in speed, 6.5%, and a bravery regen for 24 per second. Finally, level 3 gets all those, plus 20% attack and HP regen, 24 HP per second, like the bravery regen. It takes 4.5 seconds of charging to actually reach level 3, but when you do, you get a lot of buffs. A lot of strong buffs. And your nearby teammates get those buffs as well. Time for some quick math. The generic EX skill HP regen gives you 1000 HP by the time it's over. Now, Vayne's unique EX skill gives you 24 HP per second, and it lasts about 25 seconds. So 24 times 25 equals 600 HP over the course of the entire effect. And the 2 HP regens, Vayne's and the generic one, can stack with each other. This means that if everybody stays close to each other, or on a small map like the Royal City Rabanastre, or the Interdimensional Rift, Final Floor, you get a ton of HP back just by staying near Vayne. Not to mention, you also get a defensive buff, so that means that people can't even build the bravery up as well as they normally would be able to. It's a minor defensive buff, but it's still there. Along with that, you get an attacking buff if he manages to charge up to the HP regen state. And then you have all these buffs going on at once, not to mention the generic buffs, empowering those buffs with buff. You see how much I'm saying buff? That's what I'm worried about with Vayne. Those buffs stacking into the generic buffs all together can cause a lot of problems. I mean, like, in terms of balance, because, like, you could have this Vayne just, like, giving you every single advantage you need, and then you can, like, double one of them, and then you could double another one if you have 2 EX skills that are both buffs, and then the other teammate could also double up on them, and then Vayne himself could also use his... You see what I mean? Like, because, like, Vayne doesn't need, like, sacrifice his generic EX skills to use his unique EX skill. Like, nobody else has to do that. Neither does Vayne. So, he could bring HP regen, and Mighty Guard, for example, and pop his level 3 unique EX skill, and then use his generic EX skills too, and then everyone's just like unkillable for a little bit. Or I mean, like, unless you have a high enough bravery, or you're able to just, like, beat the shit out of one person, you can just make everybody like nearly impossible to build a bravery, and you can still take the damage, like more damage than you even usually would, back if they're near Vayne. Now, of course, they need to stay near Vayne. I mean, it's not like the range of Vayne's EX skill is small. It's pretty big, level 3, level 1, level 2. But still, things could get pretty hectic when you consider the other buffs still working with Vayne's buffs. By themselves, they're fine, but when you combine buff on top of buff, because they stack with each other, things can get pretty iffy here with Vayne's unique EX skill. Plus, it lasts 25 seconds, so it's not like something like it quickly goes up and then goes away and doesn't really affect anybody for except for that small duration. But anyways, that's my thoughts on Vayne. That's the only thing I can think that could be tuned down by the time he comes out. He might be overpowered with that. Other than that, I think he's a fine character. I don't think he's going to be overpowered. I think he's going to fill up a new niche in the game that has never been explored before. Wall rushes for days is going to be his unique niche. So he's going to feel overpowered when we first get him. But after, like, let's say like a week or so, we'll know how to fight him. Or we'll have some kind of videos up on here. It might take a little bit more practice, but whatever. I'm Blue the Hedgehog. I don't think Vayne's going to be overpowered except for this one unique EX skill, possibly. And what do you guys think about Vayne in the comments below? Tell me. Do you think he's going to be overpowered? I want to hear some other opinions, too. And that's all I really have to say. When we get him, we'll see if they nerf this move. We'll see if they buff whatever on Vayne. Because they usually change characters up a month after they come out. Stay safe, subscribe for more Dissidia stuff, donate your mom, and I'll see you guys next time. Toodaloo!